أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم صلاة السلام على سيدنا محمد عليه الصلاة والسلام سيدنا محمد أشرف المرسلين عليه الصلاة والسلام. Today we shall be starting chapter 3, the sunrise of prophethood on Mount Faran. When Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam reached 40, as per his earlier routine, he was in the cave of Hira. When suddenly an angel appeared in the cave, he entered, greeted him with salam and said, "Read." Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam replied, "I am unable to read." Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam recounts, "Upon this the angel embraced me so forcefully that there was no limit to my suffering. He then released me saying, 'Read.' Yet again I responded, 'Ma ana biqari', I am unable to read." He said, alayhi salatu salam. Continuing further, Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam relates, the angel likewise forcefully embraced him a second and then a third time, released me and bade me to recite the following verses. اقرأ باسم ربك الذي خلق خلق الإنسان من علق اقرأ وربك الأكرم الذي علم بالقلم علم الإنسان ما لم يعلم, which translates as, "Read with the aid of the name of your Rabb, who has created the entire universe. He has created above all man from a clot of blood. Read, and your Rabb is the most gracious, who has taught knowledge by the use of the pen. He has taught man that which he did not know." Surah Al-Alaq. Thereafter Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam returned home trembling in anxiety. The moment he entered, he requested Khadija radiallahu anha to wrap him up. When his anxiety and agitation subsided, he related the whole incident to Khadija radiallahu anha, saying, "I was terrified of losing my life." In other words, since the spiritual illumination of divine revelation and the spiritual radiance of the angel were abruptly thrust upon the human nature of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and due to the magnitude of the divine revelation, Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam assumed that if the intensity of this wahy persists in the manner, his human nature would very unlikely be able to withstand the burden of wahy. It could also mean that, saddled by the burden of prophethood, he thought he would perish. The following verse refers to this very burden. "Inna sanulqi alayka qawlan thaqila," which translates as, "We will reveal upon you a very burdensome word." Seeratul Mustafa. If Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam were receiving divine revelation whilst mounted upon a camel, the camel would be constrained to sit down. Zayd ibn Thabit radiallahu anhu narrates, on one occasion Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam's thigh was on my thigh when he started receiving divine revelation. His thighs suddenly became so unbearably heavy that I was afraid of my thigh being reduced to pulp. Thereafter Jibreel alayhi salam appeared before him, giving him glad tidings of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala choosing him as his messenger. Until Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam felt at ease, he then bade him to recite. Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam asked, "How must I recite?" Jibreel alayhi salam replied, "Read in the name of your Rabb who created," up to the verse that which he knew not. Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam accepted the message of Allah and returned. Every tree and stone he passed en route to his home greeted him with "Assalamu alayka ya Rasulullah." This is how he returned home in high spirits and with firm conviction that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has conferred upon him a rank of incalculable magnitude prophethood.